At one interchange in Vice City, there are 2 road signs, and between them, they say more than the rest of the trailer put together. The left one, Exit 14B, Route 404 East, to the beaches, the port, and the Keys, and in smaller type underneath, via tunnel. The right one, Exit 14A, 404 West, to the airport and Kelly County. Look at what follows from that. You do not reach the port and the islands by bridge. There is a tunnel, and it runs under the water. Nobody draws a tunnel for the sake of it. It is an expensive thing to build, and a studio builds one when it intends to drive you through it. So the port and the island chain are not backdrop. They are places the game plans to send you. Every direction on those signs leads inside Leonida. Not one sign points outward, not one arrow crosses the state line. Whichever way you turn, you stay here. Now look at the cars using those roads. Some of them carry plates that Leonida does not issue, and it is not one stray car. Different decades, different serials, each plate with a history of its own. So there is a place people drive into Leonida from, and no way to drive out to it. On the roads it exists, on the signs it does not. By the end of this video, I will name it and show you where it is. Let's go east first, the way the left sign pointed. The road climbs onto an elevated stretch, and from up there, you can see what the tunnel was built for, the port. A container ship at the quay, a row of gantry cranes above it, and behind them, a steel truss bridge thrown across the water. Look closely at the cranes. Every jib carries the same marking, and it repeats from crane to crane. That means the port is not a set of props arranged for the shot. It has an operator, a single company holding it. Rockstar rarely writes that kind of thing into a place where you will have nothing to do. The ship has its own name on the hull, and it is legible. That vessel is not generic. It has an owner. Beside the elevated road, there is a billboard, and it says, "Fun has no borders." An advert for a cruise line, placed hard up against a cargo port. Rockstar's own material calls this port the cruise ship capital of the world, and here are both of its halves in one frame. White liners for the tourists, containers for everything else. Now the thing in this same stretch that is easy to miss. A cargo plane passes over the river and the towers, and its ramp is open. A transport aircraft does not fly over a city with the ramp down. You open it when something is meant to leave the aircraft. Cargo, a person, a parachute. Nobody animates an open ramp for background. That is a deliberately staged frame, and it says that in this game, things will be jumping and being dropped out of planes. The port below, the aircraft above, and both of them busy with the same work, moving what should not be moved. Keep following the same sign. Past the port, 404 leaves the mainland for the island chain, and the first thing waiting at the entrance is a row of booths across the road, a toll plaza. A toll gate inside a city is a rare thing, and in the real Miami there is exactly one, onto the Venetian islands, which are covered in villas. Rockstar carried it over whole, meaning included. Behind the booths you can see what the money is for, a row of narrow finger islands, houses on the water, yachts at private docks. So between the city and the money in this game, there is a physical barrier. Not a shop window, not a hint. An actual place where you are either let through or you are not. Further south, the road runs along a causeway, and parallel to it runs a second one, an abandoned railway on piles. This is not invention. One like it still stands in Florida, the remains of a line built out to the islands a century ago and abandoned after a hurricane. Rockstar put the dead predecessor alongside the living road, and this is one of those details you appreciate a developer for. And now the important part of this stretch. Above the far island, tethered to the ground, hangs a white blimp. That is a radar aerostat. They are not raised for looks or for advertising. You look down and sideways from them to see the low-flying aircraft and boats that cross the strait beneath ordinary radar. One still hangs over the real Florida Keys, and it hangs there to watch for smugglers. Add it to what else is in this trailer. A boatyard working as a front, a pier strung with lights, the cargo plane with the open ramp we just looked at. Rockstar hung over these islands exactly the equipment that catches what you will be doing there, and hung it before showing you the doing. That is not scenery, and it is not a wink for the initiated. It is a statement about mechanics. You will be watched from above, and the game said so with a single object in the sky. Back to the sign, and out along the third of its directions, the beaches. The first thing worth noticing is that the sign has them in the plural, and that is not a slip. The police cars parked along the curb here are not marked the way the cars downtown are marked. Their doors read Vice Beach, separately from Vice City. So the beach strip is not a district of the city. It is a city of its own, with its own police force. The real Miami works exactly this way. Miami and Miami Beach are two municipalities with two police departments, and crossing the bridge between them moves you from one jurisdiction into another. Rockstar carried the whole split over, and that is the second border in a row. The first ran on money at the toll booths on the way in. This one runs on authority. The street itself is a postcard. Art Deco hotels stand right on the sand, and down each facade runs a vertical neon sign with a name. The Boardwalk, the Dominion, the Hotel Dixon, and a fourth, the Ocean View, the same building that was Tommy's first safe house back in 2002. They rebuilt it in the same place under the same name. 24 years on, the address has not moved. This is not a new city given an old name, it is the same one, aged by a generation. The beach below has stopped being empty space too. Umbrellas stand in rows with the name of the company that rents them printed across the top. So the sand belongs to somebody, and somebody is making money on it. A banner plane drags an advert over the water. There is a striped lifeguard tower, jet skis, a crowd. And here, according to the Ultimate Edition description, there is a garage you can claim. Inside, a weapon locker and a drop for the local fence. So even on the postcard beach with the umbrellas, there is already a stolen goods economy wired in. A place you bring what you took somewhere else. Now look at the car at the curb, at its plate specifically. That is not a random string of characters. It is a word spelled out of letters and numbers, a vanity plate, the kind you order separately and pay for. Somebody at the studio sat down and wrote a joke for one car in one shot that holds the screen for a second and a half. Remember what that plate looks like. White, palms along the bottom edge, the state name beneath them, Leonida. And hold on to what follows from it. If the plates in this game are written one at a time, by hand, for the sake of a single joke in a single shot, then no plate here is accidental background, including the ones that do not belong to Leonida. Make a note of that, we will come back to it. To get from the beach to downtown, you have to cross water. The city is cut in two by a channel, the beach strip on one side, the business district inland on the other. The border we were just talking about runs exactly here, not along a street, but along the water. In the middle of downtown stands an arena. In-game, it is the Sahara Arena, and Sahara in this world is Amazon. So this is a stadium named after an online retailer. The joke is finer than it looks. The real arena they drew it from has changed its name several times in its life. It has been named after an airline, after a crypto exchange, after a software firm. The name of that building is simply for sale, and it goes to whoever has the money at the time. Rockstar did not invent an absurdity. They wrote down how it works. The team that plays in that arena is called the Manatees. A manatee is a Florida animal, slow, harmless, and under state protection. Only somebody who understands exactly what they are joking about names a sports club after one. Directly in front of the arena, Rockstar put a performing arts complex, a concert hall, a ballet and opera house, a tower, and a footbridge across the street joining its two halves. This is worth stopping on. We are in a game about crime, and in its central district, there is a symphony hall. Most open worlds hand you a downtown made of glass you cannot enter because glass is cheaper than meaning. Here they put something into the city that has nothing to do with what you will be doing, and that is the most direct way of saying the world exists without you. On along the skyline, a tower with a circular hole punched clean through its facade. 3 round towers standing together by the expressway, a spire lit along its ribs, and on 2 separate buildings, the same word in large letters. which means those two towers belong to one company, and it is large enough to hold two of them downtown at once. And the last thing in this district, the one you drive past without looking. On the approach into downtown, neon zigzags run along a blank wall. That is not a sign and not an advert. It is a light installation. In the real Miami, one like it sits on a transit bridge and counts as civic art. A city that commissions an artist to light a bridge is a city with a budget for beauty, not only for concrete. Take Exit 3, where the sign said Southwest 9th Avenue and Southside. The road dips under an elevated structure here, and it is not a road viaduct, but a rail one. A line of elevated metro runs along concrete piers, a train passes over it, and underneath, in the shade of the columns, there is a bus stop and a tire shop. Notice what Rockstar put under those columns. A wall with a mural on it, portraits, and a line in Haitian Creole, in memory and with love. This is a memorial wall. The people on it are not abstract. You paint them when somebody is gone. Cities are built this way. The rails go up over the poorest blocks because the land is cheaper there and fewer people object. Rockstar placed a memorial mural directly beneath a metro line, and in one frame said more about the neighborhood than 2 minutes of narration would. On the same wall, there is a note, "No filming without permission," and a phone number. That happens in places that have been filmed too long by outsiders, tourists, crews, everybody. So this is a district that knows it is being looked at and has set a rule about it. The number on the wall starts 305. That is the real Miami-Dade area code. Rockstar did not invent it. And here is the detail that is easy to walk past. The same 305 is in the name of a clothing store a block over. In Miami, that code is worn as a name, on shirts, on signs, in nicknames. 3 digits work as an identity document, and the game reproduced that twice in 2 different places. At the junction nearby, there is a corner store with a green sign and a note that Spanish is spoken. The crossing is painted in stripes. Through the junction itself ride dirt bikes, a whole group of them. And here, 2 frames from different parts of the trailer come together. Elsewhere in the same reel, a news broadcast is running, and the headline is about police failing to deal with bike gangs terrorizing Vice City. So the game showed you the thing in the street, and then showed you how it is talked about on television. The world in it comments on itself. The next district is Stockyard. Warehouse walls painted to full height, a building in yellow grid with 2 enormous eyes on it, lowriders, a donk on chrome. This is their version of Wynwood, a real Miami district that first became a street art quarter and then a car quarter. And 3 businesses are attached to this block: a tattoo shop, a streetwear store, and a garage that turns ordinary cars into lowriders. Not one of those names was spoken in a trailer. All 3 sit in the descriptions on a pre-order page, which means Rockstar hands out the workings of a district in text that most players will never open. The second name on that same sign is Southside. This is the inland part of the city, further from the water, and that is where Rockstar put a gang. Not much is said about them, but what is said is specific. They grow premium hydroponics where they should not, and a mission is built around their compound. You go in, you take the contraband, you get out. So one district already has residents, production, and a reason for you to drive there. And now the thing the trailers show twice and almost nobody remarks on. There are 2 prisons in this game, not 1. The first, a double coil of razor wire around the perimeter, floodlight masts above it, and a water tower standing in the yard. The second, in the other trailer, is shown in far more detail. An octagonal guard tower in red and white, a sally port with an officer's booth, a visitor's window with a grill and an intercom, and notices in 2 languages. 2 prisons in a game with 2 protagonists, a man and a woman. Do the arithmetic yourself. On the gate of the second hangs a board setting out visiting hours, and at the bottom of it a line, "By order of the state governor." It is a 2-second detail, and it completes a hierarchy. Vice City has its own police, the beach has its own, the counties have sheriffs, and above all of them there is a governor, whose signature is on a notice at a prison gate. The police here wear body cameras, and one of them is stamped with its own device number and a timestamp. on Eastern Time, the zone Florida is actually in. Nobody sees that except the people who paused the frame. There was also a bank robbery. The bank has a name on a desk plate and a lockdown warning on its screens, so a robbery in this game is not an abstract scene. It is a specific mission against an institution with a sign on the door. And the last thing, and the reason to watch the roadsides. 2 billboards stand along the highway. The first advertises a drug that, if the copy is to be believed, cures emotions. The second advertises a lawyer, and it asks one question: who hurt you? Both exist in reality. Florida's highways are papered with personal injury lawyer boards from horizon to horizon. It is a local industry. Rockstar put the two side by side and got a portrait of the state in 2 pictures. Here they treat feelings with a pill, and if that fails, somebody sues on your behalf. Now let's talk about how money works in this game and why water is needed for it. There is a strip club downtown. It has an owner, and to everyone, that owner looks like a perfectly respectable man. He runs the club, he runs a recording studio, he keeps legitimate businesses. But he is a criminal, and the business exists to explain where the money comes from. Now look at the water. There is a boatyard, and it works exactly the same way. Repairs on the outside, smuggling on the inside. 2 fronts, one on land and one on water, both shown in the same trailer. That is not a coincidence, and not 2 separate storylines. That is Rockstar telling you the economy will be built on legitimate signage laid over illegitimate money. You will be given businesses, and you will need them not for the takings, but to account for where funds came from. The boatyard, incidentally, has a name and a phone number written on a sign inside the shed. The number starts 786. That is the second Miami-Dade area code, the one that appeared when 305 ran out of numbers. Rockstar used both of the county's real codes, in different districts and in different scenes. Further on, in the descriptions for that same Ultimate Edition, there is a boat with a name of its own. It has a stated mooring, a specific beach, and a stated bay where you fish from it. 3 named places for 1 boat. That is not how you describe a 2-minute diversion. That is how you describe a system with addresses. And the last place in this section, the one it was worth coming out here for. Out in open water, far from shore, stands a house on stilts. A timber deck, a railing, a roof. There is no road to it at all, only a boat. Houses like that exist. There is a whole settlement of them on piles in the bay off Miami, left over from the days when it was convenient to do on the water what was banned on land. Rockstar carried it over and carried the principle with it. In this game, there are places you cannot drive to. You can only reach them by water, and that is not a restriction. It is an invitation. Back to the sign we started with. It carried one direction I have said nothing about so far: Kelly County. That word changes the scale. Until now, we have been driving around a city and its districts, and a county is no longer a municipal unit, but an administrative one. And once you start looking for them, they turn up one after another. A police helicopter chases a boat over the ocean, and along its tail boom is the name of a county, Vice-Dale. That is the county whose seat is Vice City, and it is named after the real Miami-Dade. Then a suburban junction, of which there are dozens in frame. A green board hangs over the road with arrows in 2 different directions. Mariana one way, Vice-Dale the other, and Route 404 running between them. Stop for a second and consider what that shot is. It is a border drawn on screen, not a shoreline and not a fence. An administrative line between 2 counties, marked the way such lines are marked in life, with a board on a gantry. One more name is written on the door of a sheriff's cruiser, and a 5th is half legible around the rim of a deputy's badge in a news segment. Put it together with what came before. Vice City has its own police. The beach strip has its own, separately. The counties have sheriffs. Above all of them is a governor whose signature hangs on a prison gate. 4 levels of authority, and each of them shown not in text but in an object. A door panel, a road sign, a badge, a notice on a gate. Which means the police chase in this game may not work as one wanted level covering the whole world. Cross the line and the people coming after you are different, with different markings on the doors. And now the thing all of this was leading to. The counties cover the state completely. There is not one scrap of ground that does not belong to one of them. That is how any administrative map works. There is no free land between counties, which means those cars with foreign plates did not come from a neighboring county. Inside Leonida, there is no neighboring county for them. The last location for today is out on the islands again, a small bar by the water with no name on its front. The name is written on a gig poster inside, a band playing on the 24th of August, and underneath, where. The place identifies itself not by its signage, but by what happens in it. Above the bar hangs a board of wooden planks, each one cut into an arrow pointing off somewhere. On the planks, names. The top one reads Hurricane, then one name per arrow, and the last two are behind a customer's head. Bars on the islands do this. They hang a board and keep score of the storms that have been through them. Every plank is a year the roof came off. And here it is worth remembering something from earlier. The abandoned railway on piles, the one running parallel to the live road. It was destroyed by a hurricane, exactly as the real one was. It has been a monument ever since. Rockstar told the same story twice, at opposite ends of the map and with different objects. A dead line in the south, and a board of names in a bar. And both times the story is the same one. Hurricanes come here. Beyond that, the bar has everything it should. Beer brands, a notice on the door carrying the full text of the law against drinking within 100 feet of a store, and the sign of the shop next door, which honestly warns of alien activity in the area. Now look at the wall above the counter. We are in the room that takes us back to the beginning of this video. Look once more, before I point out the thing everybody has missed. I will break down the rest of this map in the same detail as Vice City, the islands, the wetlands, the north of the state. Subscribe so you don't miss the most detailed tour of the world of GTA 6. Back to the main room of this video. The wall above the counter is covered in license plates. There are several dozen of them, different colors and different years, and at first glance it is simply bar decor. But look at the lettering. Some of the plates say Leonida, the same design we were looking at on Ocean Drive. White, palms along the bottom edge. And the rest say something else. Gloriana. That is a second state. And here is what is known about it. Start with the name. Gloriana was the nickname of Elizabeth I of England. Now think about how the real American states are named. Georgia after King George II, Virginia after that same Elizabeth. Rockstar did not pull the word out of the air. They swapped one monarch for another and left the principle untouched, which makes Gloriana Georgia. The theory then checks out against the plates themselves. Their designs copy real Georgia plates, decade by decade, down to the dolphin in the corner. There is a dolphin population off the Georgia coast, and it is on those plates. 7 or 8 designs. 1970, 74, 79, 85. Somebody at the studio sat down and drew the license plate history of a state that does not exist, laid out by decade, for a piece of set dressing on a bar wall the camera looks at for 4 seconds. And they are not only on the wall. A plate like that is on a pickup driving past in the second trailer. Another is on a car in an official screenshot. And another is on the motorcycle one of the game's 2 protagonists is sitting on. Now open the description Rockstar published on their own site. Of the mountain park in the north, it says, a national landmark against the northern border of the state. Stop on those words. Every Grand Theft Auto map before this one was an island. Water on all sides and nothing beyond the water. This one has a land border, and Rockstar named it themselves. And the canyon they put up in that north is drawn from a real park. The park is in Georgia. The river running through it is a real river, one that flows out of Georgia into Florida. The geography of the neighboring state is already on the map. It is just labeled with the wrong name for now. And the last part, the most human one. A fan registered a website with that name and pointed it at Rockstar's page as a joke. Late last year, buyers came to him. They offered $600. He refused. They came back, harder, and the domain went for about $2,000. It now sits with the same company that manages the domains of Rockstar and Take-Two themselves. You buy protection for a name when you intend to use it. Alderney was a second state. North Yankton was a second state. Cayo Perico was a whole island added 3 years later. And Leonida's main highway is called 404. And 404, in reality, is the area code for Atlanta. Back to where we started. Every road sign in this video pointed inside one state, and the cars were arriving from outside it. Now you know where from. The place you cannot drive out to from Leonida is called Gloriana. It lies to the north, and Rockstar paid $2,000 to make sure nobody else took its name.